Two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but today we are going to be going on about a film that was brought to our attention by our good friend Boris here. So, tell us what film you delighted us this time around with.
Wow, talk about sarcasm. The movie I chose this time was The Caregiver from 2023, directed by Ariel Luque, written by Mariana Frias and Ariel Luque, and starring Klara Kovacic. The surname sounds Croatian, interestingly enough.
But
Luis Fernandez.
she is supposedly Argentinian and a scream queen of that country region.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that, but yeah, the surname really does sound very Croatian. uh, Luis Fernandez and Nicola Kent. And it says Emma takes a job as a caregiver for a senile old woman. Strange things start happening in the house. What Emma doesn't know is that the house hides a terrifying secret. Um, so,
Which sounds promising enough.
doesn't it, huh? Is this the first time you both have watched this movie, and what were your first impressions? And okay, ladies first, let's start with Tammy.
Yeah, it was my first time. I guess it was okay. It was a little slow. Um, there was definitely things in the scenes that it's like, why did she do that? Why didn't she do that instead?
Oh yeah, yes.
But once it got going, it was a little. It wasn't too bad in the end, but it was all right. I've seen a lot better, and I've seen worse.
Mm, fair enough. Mm, is that it of your first impressions, or do you have anything to add?
That's it so far.
Okay. And what about you, Dave?
Well, this is the first time a watch. I know you sometimes you pick ones that you know, and sometimes you pick ones that I know you were totally blind about, and I think this was one of them. Which is fine.
Yes.
Which is fine and dandy. There are movies out there that I have no idea about, and I would love to check it out. And I totally pick because I want to see it, whether or not it's good or bad at the moment. I don't care. I just want to see it. So this is one of those movies that I think you just pick because you wanted to see it's to see it, and honestly, it's kind of interesting to see what others think about it too.
Well, David, you also buy a lot of movies that you've never seen. You have no idea what they are either.
Correct. I do things a lot on blind buys, and sometimes they're okay, and sometimes they're completely terrible. And I've gotten to a point in my life where I've seen a lot of stuff, and there's stuff that I like, and there's stuff that I dislike too. And I'll say this about this film: there's not a whole lot of information on it. I know it had to have been filmed in Argentina, but it looks like it might have been filmed a little bit in the United States. According to IMDb, the main actress is a screen queen of sorts. Well, if she is a scream queen, she definitely made some decisions that, you know, people with brains would never do. I mean,
Yes.
but I will say this: whoever directed the film did pay for a score. That is an actual score behind the movie. I will say that. I don't know who did the score, but it a score, a nice score. It's not that it's memorable, but to notice that there is a score is something. I will say that I liked the actress who played the old senile woman. To bang your head up against your noggin and not be totally and be entirely senile afterwards. I mean, as old as she was, I wonder if that was an act or not, because she is and does look old. So.
Well, I think as the story progressed, I think they made it pretty clear that she was not really senile after all, that she was faking it.
Well, yeah, and I swear I had seen her before in something else, but looking at the history of that actress, she wasn't really in a whole lot that and I don't think there's anything I recognize other than this, that she's ever been in, before or after, So,
Who?
nothing that I would have seen right offhand. So to make an impression on me, that's at least something. So that actress definitely stood out in the movie. So other than that, I enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, sometimes it's comical to see some of the mistakes these people make, and it was like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? You know?
Yes, yes. There is one major such scene I am going to be talking about. I'm not sure if we are thinking of the same one, but we quite possibly are.
Well, what were your thoughts on it? Was it a first time for you?
Yes, yes, it was the first time, and as you know, there were multiple movies I was considering for this discussion, but there was one I wanted but wasn't able to find. You didn't have it either. Then there was one that I did find, but there were no subtitles for it, and it's not even spoken in English. So yeah, and then this was one I had looked up on IMDb recently, and I figured out, okay, what the hell, let's go with this one. But to be honest, I didn't really have a very good impression of it. I expected much more from it than I eventually got.
What did
My
you expect?
major
What did you expect? To be honest.
Well, I expected a better story, as you both have said. The main character makes some quite stupid mistakes, which I didn't expect. Uh, I I also thought the movie was going to be more horror and less thriller. Although I do like thrillers too, but the description on IMDb made me expect more of some haunted house scene, not a crime story.
I feel like
Uh,
this movie needed a body count.
yes, yes, good point.
If you're going to make kind of a slasher movie, you might as well make it kind of a slasher movie. But they didn't even do that. I feel like there should have been more bodies dead.
Well, altogether, there were like wait, the old woman's son was killed, the daughter too. Okay, now I'm spoiling, but we spoil movies anyway.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
yeah, the girl in the basement, that Russian man who entered, that was four, and at the end, the old hack got killed too.
Well,
So
yeah,
that's
I was expecting like maybe a room that would have been uncovered, like with a bunch of dead bodies and maybe some skeletons or something like that of like some past, you know. Uh,
oh,
I could have. I mean, I see that in my mind as something that that could be like registering that okay, they've tried this stuff before, and that would have been more added to the secret or whatnot, but they didn't have that, you know.
yeah. Although there was, but yeah, that's not nearly the same when you don't see it on screen. But at the end, when there was that news article, they said that there was like 10 deaths of young women in that house or something like that. But yeah, that's really not the same thing when you don't see any of it on screen.
Well, yeah. Um,
I wish they would have showed what the upper floors of the house were, and like David, in a way, like David said, maybe if you saw the upper floors of the house, you would have seen signs of things that had happened. Maybe in the upper rooms or something, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, they they could have done a lot more with the concept of this movie.
It was just missing details. I think that might have been needed to make it a little bit more horrifying, you know. And that's how I feel about it at the end of the day. But I'm sure we'll go into more of the story because I feel like the beginning of the movie, the main chick, she's leaving an abusive relationship or something like that. That's what I feel like. That's what the phone call was all about.
I
I'm not
think they
going back to
mentioned an abusive father, actually.
yeah. That's another thing. I wish we would have known more of that. Oh, and
Yes,
I
yes.
I don't like the fact that she was having a conversation and you didn't hear the other end of the conversation. That was the first mistake I noticed. Or maybe that was on purpose. I don't care. But when you're having a conversation on the phone, sometimes I prefer to hear what's on the other end of the line, even if it's just a muffled Peanuts voice. Wah, 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 you know.
Nice one.
But the film does start with a phone call, so why don't you take it from there?
Yes. Uh, yeah, so it starts with the phone call, and as far as I remember, yeah, she's having a phone call with her mother, and sh apparently the mother is trying to convince her to visit her father or something like that, and she doesn't want to do it. She says her father is a pig, and we also see her having some vague nightmare about her father, which all implies that he was, I don't know, abusing her, maybe even raping her or something. But we don't get to see any further insight into that matter. And yeah, as you say, that part really annoys me because throughout the movie, I expected we would find out more. I thought her traumas with her father would make some impact on the plot, but no, it was just mentioned at the beginning, and then there was absolutely nothing about it throughout the rest of the movie, as if that phone call had not even happened. So that's also another issue I have
Well, yeah.
with this
Why have that
story.
phone conversation if it's not gonna? play anything later on or whatnot. You're almost better off just having her show up to the job interview or whatnot, and then playing it from there instead of But I suppose it gives it a little bit of why she took this job to begin with, kind of thing.
Huh. It does. How does it connect to the job?
I think that she just wants to get away from everything. That's why she took the job. She wants to get away from her current life and everything going on in it and focus on
Huh.
something else.
Well, oh yeah, that could be it, I guess.
It was still very vague about her situation, and I think we needed just a little bit more as far as her background. Not like entirely the whole story, but maybe a few flashbacks of what she has dealt with before. Maybe flashbacks during some of the dull, slow moments might have been effective, but you don't get any of that. So
Indeed.
like maybe
Unfortunately.
some flashbacks dealing with her father that might have effect on her choices on what she does next as the movie progresses, but we don't get any of
Indeed. And then, yeah, from what I remember, we see her having this job interview with the man who turns out to be the apparently senile old woman's son. And he says stuff like, she is senile, she is apparently rarely in touch with reality. She has her episodes of being violent and stuff like that, but apparently it's all just her condition.
and at first
And
you feel like it's like a supernatural thing because she's talking to herself and showing up outside her door. Her medication is flung to the floor, you know.
oh yeah, yeah, indeed.
But that
Uh,
supernatural element is definitely not there.
yeah, like I said, the synopsis on IMDb also made me expect something supernatural, and that was kind of what I hoped to see. Although, like I said, I don't generally mind a good thriller with no supernatural elements if a thriller is what I expect, but when it makes me expect something supernatural, then this felt a bit misleading. And yeah, I was a little disappointed about that.
You were expecting a little bit of an Omen story, like maybe a devil showing up or a demon.
Whew, I wouldn't mind something like that, or I don't know, at least a ghost story or something.
Yeah, I could have imagined that. But what do we get?
So yeah, she gets to that house where she is supposed to take care of the old woman. And I will admit the house actually looks very cool, like really cool haunted house setting, which once again made me expect something supernatural. But
Well,
yeah,
I
at
like the
least,
spiral staircase.
yeah. It, Yeah, the visuals are really good. I have to give them that. I really liked the interior of that house. But, hello. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I
I
can hear you.
had some. Okay, I had some strange glitch here. Uh, uh, and yeah, we get to see the old woman who at first appears completely unresponsive, like Emma has to physically move her down to get her to sleep and things like that. But yeah, then we get things like the woman saying weird things and oh yeah, we also we see the old woman having some scratches on her back. What was that even all about?
Well, I'm not sure if she did that to herself, but that's why I thought it was going in the supernatural realm at first, because that didn't look like she did it. You know, it looks like someone actually did that. Which
Mm,
once we found out that she had other guests in the house, then I understood the scratches. But at first, that just kind of played into a possible supernatural angle. You know, to me.
yeah, so in the end, what do you think? Were those scratches just part of the whole deception or what?
I think the scratches came from that guest because all of them were well, all of the victims were there against their will. Although we didn't see any other victims,
Ah,
the two women.
someone could have done that to her in self-defense. Well,
I
yeah.
think maybe that lady, maybe the one that was in the basement did that to her.
Yeah,
Oh, cool. Yeah, that could be it.
but yeah. Um, you also see a little bit of a setup because they show these photos of nurses in the house, or nurses that have been caregivers, um, which made me feel like the lady that she is taking care of was in fact a nurse at one point in time. That
Uh, uh oh yeah, yeah, something like that. I forgot what exactly they said, but yeah, I think they said she was some sort of medical worker at some point.
yeah,
Which
you might have said something in the initial interview. I'm not sure, but something should be said about this film. The setting is in New York, supposedly, in 1989, right before the fall of the Berlin Wall.
true. Yeah, they they do talk about that. Now that you say it, it actually makes me wonder what is the reason why they set the story in some we could say in a way historical time. Like the time period doesn't really make that much of a difference on the plot. So how come they didn't? How come it doesn't take place in the modern time?
I don't know. I thought it was a vague thing, but they did have an announcement on on a TV or a radio that was playing, and the Berlin Wall actually fell while she was apparently in the kitchen or some one of the downstairs rooms, and the old lady, which she was in the other room listening to it, and she was like, "You idiots or fools" or something like that. So it made me think like she was German, but she was in fact Russian. Um,
Uh, Well, yeah, I think it was said at the beginning when Emma was being given the job that the old woman was Russian.
Yes. So, um, other than that, this film ends up being okay. So it seems like she is trying to uh, impregnate people with, uh, I'm assuming, uh, either DNA or eggs or something that has to do with her family. Since I don't think either one of her son or daughter can. Maybe it's an incestual thing that's going on because I don't see any marriage to that the daughter has or any marriage that the son has. So I almost feel like the son is doing the mother's bidding, and the daughter, well, I'm not sure whether she has a relationship outside of this family, but I think it's kind of
Uh,
weird that she's impregnating people with children and wanting to take care of a small child at the age that she is.
well, at the end, in that news article, they said the whole purpose of it was selling the babies. They were talking about baby trafficking.
Oh, okay. So they were baby trafficking mothers and baby trafficking children. So they were a baby trafficking ring.
Uh, yeah, that's what I got from it, although that news article also confused me in its own ways, but I think we will have to get to that.
Well, yeah. Um, so ultimately, the main chick, um, trying to remember what her name was,
Emma.
Emma. Okay. Emma starts to feel like she's drugged, and then apparently she wakes up, and the son is evidently feeling on her stomach or whatnot, and the old woman is like this. She's got to take time, and I guess seems like they're waiting for signs of life inside her stomach. Evidently, it seems like there is time that passes during this moment. You know, it feels like they're trying to make time pass, so that maybe you know this plot that they basically you know impregnated her with something, um, and ultimately she ends up helping her give birth to that other child that is in the woman in the basement, which at first they try to have her be that woman's savior, and she's unable to do that. Right.
Uh, yeah, yeah, I think so. So yeah, there is this one part of the movie where all we can see is the old woman apparently being either mentally ill or being haunted by something supernatural. But yeah, her behavior becomes more and more disturbing and more difficult for Emma to handle until until Emma gets injected and sedated to sleep and finds herself tied up to a bed and then this man appears who is actually the one who gave her the job, the old woman's son.
And he tries to tell her everything is going to be okay and all that jazz, but she is able to um, find a knitting needle and uncuff her hand. Find a knitting needle, hide it by her side, and when he comes back, she stabs him and basically kills him. And she ends up escaping, tries to go downstairs and finds that all the doors are locked. But then she has to hide because the old woman then comes in and finds the son dead. And then somehow she's able to get up to the bathroom and lock herself in. And the old woman bangs on the door. Oh, one of the things that creeps me out about her, she kept knocking her head against the closet or something like that, or inside her room. That was creepy.
Whew, yeah. The one thing that majorly confused me about this part is Emma killed the man with this thing. What was it? A dagger, a letter opener, something like
It was a
that.
knitting needle. It was a knitting
Uh,
needle that she
uh,
stabbed. An
uh,
old-fashioned knitting needle, one of those big
uh,
ones with.
okay, knitting needle. And then when she left and got to the bathroom, why did she no longer have that needle to defend
It was
herself?
still stuck in his neck.
Oh, she left it in his neck.
Yeah, she left it in his
Uh,
neck and didn't bring it with her. Which that was another thing. I would have, after stabbing him with that, that was a weapon. I would have quickly gotten that thing out of his neck and kept it.
hell yeah, yeah. That was one of the stupid mistakes. Although not the most stupid one.
Another one was when she was running from her leader, and she found like one of the windows that was all boarded up with wood. You could tell that that wood was barely on there, so she could have easily pulled that wood back instead of screaming her fucking head off. You know, that was
Well, yeah,
another.
she pulled one piece off, so evidently it came off.
Yeah, she could have continued and gotten to the window easily.
Yeah, good point.
Instead, she sat and screamed her head off, which I guess is why that makes her a scream queen. So
Indeed.
screaming for no reason, though, that's a new one. So although there are women that scream in horror movies that should not be screaming all the time. So
Ooh.
that's what makes some of them fun, but this one was just pointless.
Oh, we could say so.
But anyways, go ahead and continue and tell us what happened after I believe the old woman. She said, "As soon as you come out of here, you will regret it."
Yeah, and I think Emma stays there for the whole night, if I remember correctly, because we see this calendar thing moving in the meantime. Uh, and then, and then she comes out. Now, yeah, we do not have a Wikipedia page, so I don't remember exactly what happened there, but did the old woman start chasing her or something like that? Or was that when she got to the basement and found the other girl trapped there?
Yeah, I believe that's what happens when she comes out of the bathroom. She ends up finding herself downstairs in the basement, realizes that there's someone else there, and she tries to get her to help her, but they hear noises in the house, and she tries to go back upstairs and figure out a way to try to help this girl, but ultimately the old lady catches up with her, finds her, and forces her by gunpoint with a shotgun to to untie the lady and help her up the stairs because, well, the chick is in labor.
And this is the part where I thought Emma made the dumbest mistake in the whole movie, because if you remember, there is this one point when Emma hits the old woman with something and knocks her out, and then she goes looking for a key to release the girl, and she makes this stupid fucking mistake. Sorry, but I was really pissed how stupid that was. She left that room and left the girl alone with the old woman unconscious, instead of I don't know, either killing the old woman or dragging her away and locking her up. But no, she left her there unconscious to wake up and
Well, I know Tammy, I know she thought that she was dead. I mean,
Well, the daughter made her look like she was dead. You know, the daughter made it look like she was dead. So.
no, the daughter had not appeared at that point yet. We are talking about the girl in the basement, the previous nurse.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't think she was dead.
Neither did I.
but the daughter comes home. I don't know. I don't know how and why she shows up, but she does, and I believe she was annoying, the daughter. So I was glad when she actually shot her, and then shot her again just to make sure she was dead. That was the.
Oh yeah, the whole thing with the daughter is rather confusing if you ask me, because they were talking about the daughter being dead, but then you find out she's not dead at all. Then apparently the daughter is acting like she is unaware of anything that's going on there, but then she starts attacking Emma, which makes you second guess what she had said before. But in the end, I guess she was involved in the whole agenda regarding how they presented things in that news article.
Well, yeah, there were definitely more people on their news report than we saw in the house at that time. So.
Oh, wait, sorry, what do you mean?
Well, yeah, there was the son, the old lady, her, the daughter, and Emma, so far as we saw.
Yes.
And the news report mentioned like 10 people, didn't it?
They also mentioned this Russian man who came, and when Emma tried to scream for help, and then that man got killed. I forgot how exactly.
The old
Uh,
lady shot him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but why? Wasn't he supposed to be on their side?
I'm
I
not sure
forgot.
why she shot him, but she did.
Yeah, the old lady shot him.
I don't remember. She said something, and then she shot him. Oh, she said she shot him because he was gonna shoot Emma, and she said that's mine or she's mine.
Yeah, now I remember. So there was that.
I do have a feeling like the lady was senile also, because she kept thinking that she was her daughter, or referring to her as Anna, the daughter, or whatnot, from time to time. So when she said that she was mine, I kind of thought that maybe she was, delusional a little bit.
Oh, unless, yeah, if she wasn't just faking
it. So, it, I mean, it was delusional what they were doing anyways to these caregivers, But
oh, yeah, pretty much.
no one expects to get hired for a job and then get kidnapped and inseminated and all that jazz. So
Yeah, although the ten people mentioned in the news article, those were uh, the 10 women who got kidnapped before by the old woman and her family. So
yep,
that's yeah, but then again, we didn't see their bodies.
nope, not all of them, but we saw some of them.
Oh, indeed.
So um,
Uh-huh.
so ultimately, what does happen is that she ultimately escapes, but then she lays in wait for the old lady, and I think at first she has a nightmare, but then she actually does show up, and she was like, "You really thought that I would have kept that baby to term? You sick, a delusional lady." And I knew it looked like a pillow, to be honest, when she was standing in the kitchen. So, um, and it was, and then of course she was ready for her, and I think she shot her dead. But
Yes, but there was one thing that really also confused me there. Like in the news article, they said that the last victim was Emma Hudson and that she escaped and saved the last baby. But then they also said that Emma went missing, which made me wonder how, if Emma went missing for some reason, how did they, the news article, even know her name?
right, so that was a little curious. But they also mentioned that the old lady was missing too, and supposedly her dead body was not found amongst the rest. So
Uh, yeah, and it also makes me wonder since Emma was going to call the cops and all that, so why exactly did she go missing?
probably to protect the child and to protect herself.
Well, weren't the authorities supposed to protect her?
Sometimes the authorities cannot protect the people, even still. I've seen it in cop shows all the time. If a criminal is a criminal, they will figure out where the fuck the feds took them. You know, I've seen it
Huh.
many a times when they brought people to a safe house and they were found.
Ah. Huh. Okay, that does make sense, but it still doesn't make sense if she went missing, how that news reporter knew her name.
What do you mean? How the news reporter?
Uh, so supposedly, after what happened in that house, Emma went missing, right? But then, how exactly did the news reporter find out the name of the last victim, and how exactly did the whole story get to the media if Emma just disappeared? How and when did she share the story with anyone?
Oh, that that I don't know. I mean, unless the police were the ones that you know leaked it out to the reporters. That's the only thing I can think of.
Huh.
Because the police were probably able to identify the the girl that gave birth to that baby and died. They were probably able to identify her, so they probably told the media that and made
Oh,
the
it's also
media
possible
aware
that,
of what this place was.
yeah, and it's also possible that Emma might have left fingerprints behind. which the police could have found on the premises, and that's why they knew that Emma was there. You know, if you
But in that case, wouldn't Emma have had to have a police record already in order for them to be able to compare the fingerprints to something?
quite possibly, you never know. I mean, I guess if she'd never been in trouble before, then it might be a bit harder to maybe figure out who she is right offhand. But honestly, um, sometimes fingerprints are something that uh, people automatically have uh, in the system. I mean,
My fingerprints are in the system, and I've not, but mine are in the system because of a job.
Huh.
yeah,
So it was two different jobs I worked, and then that had to do
Oh,
background check and everything, and so that's why my fingerprints are in the system.
oh wait, maybe I misremembered. I think what I heard somewhere about about having to be in the system already was about the DNA, not about fingerprints.
yeah. Oftentimes, your DNA can be taken from you when you're in the hospital these days. Um, even if you're born in a hospital, they take samples of your DNA and have it on file, on your medical file. I mean, technically, they're not supposed to disclose any of that, but you don't realize how the powers that be they want to keep tabs on everyone.
Yeah.
Big Brother, you knows you somehow.
Pretty much.
But at the end of the day, I guess we're at production, hey?
Oh yeah. So, what do you think about the production, Tammy?
It was okay, I guess. I mean, I was disappointed that we didn't see more of the house, and you know, with the description of the house holding a secret, you would have thought you would have seen more of the house and maybe had like a more of a little bit of a background as to the house. Was it part of the
Indeed.
family? Was it part of the family for years and years and years, or things like that? So I was kind of disappointed in that part of the production, but other than that, it was okay. I mean, there wasn't anything extravagant in the whole thing. You didn't need any really special effects or anything, so I think it was fine.
Ooh, okay.
What did you think about the production, Boris?
Actually, I had some issues with it. As I said before, I did like the camera work. That house looked really cool. That's one thing I did like. But I had some issues with the editing. Like there are okay, I don't know if that's maybe only in this particular version that I downloaded from the internet, but there were parts where the left and the right audio channel appear to be a little bit out of sync with each other. Like, okay, not so much in dialogues, but in when you heard things like footsteps or doors creaking or things like that, it kind of the sound was kind of doubled, like it was going. Like I said, as if the left and the right audio channel were a tiny bit out of sync, like one was lagging behind the other.
Hmm.
I could hear that. And there were some volume issues, like at some points the dialogues were too loud, and the volume was kind of uneven. That was another issue I had. And to be
I
honest,
had
whether
problems hearing Emma speak at times because um, I don't know whether it was because her voice is like really soft, but I feel like she needed to speak up a little bit more instead of acting like she was uh, weak
huh,
in voice. So, um, I mean, her voice got stronger later, but you can't sound like a mouse when you're trying to talk to your patient. You know.
huh, huh, interesting. See, now that makes me wonder if maybe this. Okay, wait. You downloaded the movie from that link I sent you, right?
Yeah.
Did you download the 720p or the 1080?
Probably the 1080.
Oh, that we had the same one. So yeah, I'm wondering how you didn't seem to hear the same volume issues that I heard. But anyway,
I didn't hear the
yeah,
same. I love the fact that when she was walking up the spiral staircase, that you heard every creak and moan.
uh,
That
no, I don't have an issue with the fact that you heard it, but that the left and right audio channel were a bit out of sync with each other. Like you could hear, like I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to explain it properly in English since it's not my first language, but
I know what you're talking about. I've heard it in other independent productions at times in certain like lower budget films. You can tell when audio is out of sync at times. Sometimes that just depends on the camera that you're using or whatnot, or someone wasn't using an equalizer when they were editing. So
yeah. And truth be told, I'm normally rather tolerant when it comes to technical imperfections in independent movies, like if the acting isn't very good since they don't have professional actors or the locations are just people's homes and don't look very cinematic, or I don't know, the CGI isn't good and stuff like that. That stuff I tolerate in independent movies, but
if
when
the
you
audio
have
is off, then there's definitely a problem.
yeah, because that's something you can fix in the editing process. So it's not lacking the resources to do something properly. It's just not paying attention to do it properly, and that's something I kind of have a problem with. If
Well, I
you
didn't see that problem in the copy that I saw. Um, I had more of a problem initially when Emma was first introducing herself to her patient, the old woman. Her voice was very, very soft, and it was like, couldn't you like talk a little bit more loudly, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying like yell, but you don't have to talk so softly, you know.
Oh, good point.
I don't know if you noticed that, Tammy, that she was very quiet.
Well, kind of, but when she was talking to the old lady before the old lady went berserk,
Yeah.
and she was talking to her, you normally would talk softly to somebody with dementia.
Well, not that softly.
I guess.
Uh,
Hmm.
soft you can. Firm is more what you want. Soft and firm, not soft and. I guess I'm talking like this.
You see it
Kind
how
of,
you see
yeah.
it, I guess.
You can
Indeed.
talk. You can talk gently and firm at the same time. It's the bedside manner that you would want to think about. And to be honest, a full-time caretaker should be checking on her during the night as well. And she went to bed and slept the first night, you know, on her own. Um, unless she actually woke up when I think each night she actually had to like put her back in bed.
Pretty much.
But in any case, uh, I think as far as production goes, I definitely had some issues with some of the sound. I would have definitely wanted some more backstories, some flashbacks of and history of Emma. Uh, Maybe a point in time where the old woman actually explained like how she got into the business and maybe somewhat showed a little bit of humanity even though she was already psycho, you know.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Like I could have seen her talk with conviction about what maybe a little bit of why she's doing what she did, especially after seeing Berlin Wall fall down. Maybe uh, have her explain a little bit more why she does what she does. But um,
There
and to explain the body count where there was not much of one, you know.
is pretty much, yeah.
Um, Other than that, let's see who did the music in here.
Who?
Let's see the composer. Composer. Uh, oh, they have a music department, but I swear to God, they actually. Okay, trailer music and this. Oh yeah, that's right. They did have a singer, but music supervisor was Francesca Freixa. The trailer music was by Marcelo Bermida, and the singer was Justina Cabellos. Which I guess um, there was a movie called Witch that I guess looks like The original title is Bruja from 2019. I wonder if we can eventually find that. And I guess in another movie called The Hundred Candles Game. I guess she's also an actress. Oh, she played the reporter that was in the end. Justina Cabellos, but she was in the music department as a singer of some sort. Francisco Freixa. Okay, that person is a little bit more well known. There's a movie that they were part of called The Secret in Their Eyes. In the editorial department, they were also the editor of the Caregiver.
Oh.
So it looks like he's part of quite a few Argentinian films or whatnot, or Spanish. Not exactly sure which, but in any case, heading onwards to favorite scenes and or favorite character. So Tammy, why don't you go first?
Let's see. I don't know if I really have anything that was a favorite. Um, I really don't have anything that was a favorite. I'm sorry.
Okay, no favorite person and no favorite scene or whatnot. Nothing memorable, or
No.
will you remember the mistakes too much?
Yeah.
Well, that's at least memorable. What about you, Boris? Do you have any favorite scenes and or favorite characters?
Let me think. My favorite character, yeah, that's hard. I would, in a way, I would have to go with the girl in the basement because she was the only reasonable one. Because otherwise, Emma would probably be my favorite, but she made too many stupid mistakes. Uh, and favorite scene. Uh, well, I guess when Emma finally started fighting properly, which I would say was around the time when she had to fight the daughter of the old woman. And the final encounter with the old woman was good too, but it was rather strange story-wise. But yeah, I guess that part was also good. Although it also left me wondering what the hell even happened with Emma at the end. Like the police came and all that, but what did they do with her after doing their job with the dead body?
Unsure, not sure. Sure, but is that your favorite scenes and character?
I guess, as Tammy says, in this movie it's kind of hard to find anything that stands out as really good.
Okay, well, me, I like the old lady. I actually think she was a good actress. I think that she very much imposed that she was a woman in charge of a baby snatching business, but one that was done from the ground up, where they kidnapped the women, inseminated the seeds, watched them grow to term, and then sold them on the black market.
Yes.
She was very much a crazy person. I liked the fact that you know she acted like she was crazy, and then she could like switch that off at a moment's notice. And I mean, it was creepy for me to watch her knock her head against like either a closet or a wall or whatnot, and when she took that knife and just kept jamming it into the door, that was creepy.
Well, true.
That was unique to me. Normally, people just um, pound on a door. She took a knife and took its point and kept stabbing it into the bathroom door, and that was. I don't think I had quite seen that before this movie, so I think her character was the most intriguing. Um, although my favorite moment is when she actually gets the bullet. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually took this to and made a sequel to it, and then focused more on her. I could see the sequel being better if they actually directed it right. You know, if there is a story there.
Actually, yeah. Good point.
Sometimes a sequel is good for doing that backstory, and so I guess I'd give a green light for doing a sequel to this one, just for the simple fact of rehashing a few things and then explaining a few things, you know. But other than that, normally I'm not like one for like sequels unless it's like really good, and I would have someone else direct it though. So.
Well,
Or actually, I would have someone else edit it. They didn't do a good job this time.
yeah, the editing was also kind of lousy, like I said.
But other than that, yeah, that's the film. Did anyone else have anything else to add?
Ooh, I don't think so. What about you, too?
No, I think we've done it justice. And hopefully everyone out there has enjoyed our discussion on the film. Hey, look at that. We did everything just a little over an hour. So let us know in the comments what you thought of our discussion, what you thought of the movie. It is a relatively newer movie, so give it a chance. And let us know whether we were right or wrong. I mean, we could be totally blind to others entirely liking this movie in some way, shape, or form. I liked bits and pieces of it myself. So
fair enough. There have been, truth be told, there have been movies that I love while most people just shit talk them.
no, I don't shit on them, but there are ones that I kind of wonder.
I wasn't talking about you actually, just people in general. For example, this movie Succubus Hellbent that you know is one of my favorite B movies, yet most people who have reviewed it have said only negative things about it, while I really liked that movie a lot.
I don't mind it. It's not the best, not the worst, but that is for other people to decide.
That's kind of how I feel. I've seen better, and I've definitely seen worse.
And I hate to say this, but Bunny the Killer Thing is even better than this movie. So
No,
yes,
no,
Bunny the Killer Thing is better than Salo.
no.
Oh, come on.
Okay, seriously. Tabby, do you? Okay, I haven't seen Salem, but I have heard a lot about it. Are you really saying that Buddy the Killer thing is worse even than that?
To me, yes.
Wow.
That's saying a lot. But in any case, like, share, and subscribe, everyone. Hopefully, you'll get a chance to view the movie, listen to our commentary, and hopefully you enjoy it. I thought it was interesting. Next week, I believe Tammy wants to cover Jim Henson's The Labyrinth. So,
Jim Henson, who interesting.
well, it wasn't directed by Jim Henson, but he certainly had a hand in doing all the puppetry work. So, at his company. And Jim Henson and son has been involved in many things. So,
Muppet Show, Sesame Street, things like that, right?
Farscape, even
Yeah.
the Storyteller back in the day.
Jim Henson, what did you say the movie was called?
The movie
Labyrinth.
is called Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. Labyrinth. Okay.
It stars David Bowie.
Yep.
Indeed.
Alrighty. So we'll see you next week, everyone. Hopefully you've been following along with us, and we've been having a blast here. So everyone say good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.